Shabbat Shalom. Thank you for joining us here at Temple Bet Shalom for Kabbalat Shabbat services. My name is Rabbi Joanne Loyven, and I'm joined tonight by Cantor Lisa Siegel, Rabbi Robert Davis, of course, Alan and Miguel, and everyone else who makes these services happen. We're grateful all to be here to celebrate Shabbat together. This upcoming week, there are a few different changes in our seasons and in our months. We will officially leave the winter behind as spring is upon us. We also have the new month of Nisan coming up. We are closing out Adar and moving into Nisan, which has our season and our holiday of Passover and of spring and renewal. And we also close out tomorrow the book of Exodus, and we begin a new chapter in our Torah as well. So for that, in this new season and all these new beginnings, we ask for chazak, we ask for strength as we go into this Shabbat. And to welcome this beautiful Shabbat this evening, it is my honor to call up Michaela and George. Please join me on page 2 for the candle blessings.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech ha'olam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav וציוונו להדליק נר של Shabbat.
As these Shabbat candles give light to all who behold them, so may we, by our lives, give light to all who behold us. As their brightness remind us of the generations of Israel who have kindled light, as may we, in our own day, be among those who kindle light.
Continue with Kiddush on page 5.
And there was evening and there was morning, the sixth day. The heaven and the earth were finished, and all their array. On the seventh day, God finished the work that God had been doing. And God ceased on the seventh day from all the work that God had done. And God blessed the seventh day and declared it holy, because on it God ceased from all the work of creation that God had done.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddishanu b'mitzvotav, v'ratzavanu, v'shabbat kodsho, be'ahava uvratzon, hinchilanu, zikaron, lema'aseh v'reishit, ki hu yom tehila, lemikra kodesh, zecher l'tziat mitzrayim, kivanu v'acharta ve'otanu kidashta mikol ha'amim v'shabbat kodshecha ve'ahava uvratzon hinchaltanu. Baruch atah Adonai mekadesh HaShabbat.
Amen. L'chaim. As they're enjoying a l'chaim, I'll invite you all to turn and join me on page 8 as we begin Shabbat with a prayer. I begin with a prayer of gratitude for all that is holy in my life. God needs no words, no English or Hebrew, no semantics, and no services, but I need them. Through prayer, I can sense my inner strength, my inner purpose, my inner joy, my capacity to love. As I reach upward in prayer, I sense these qualities in my Creator. To love God is to love each other. To work to make our lives better. To love God is to love the world God created and to work to perfect it. To love God is to love dreams of peace and joy that illumine all of us and bring that vision to life. We continue on page 12 with L'chuna Ranana.
L'chuna Ranana, L'chuna Ranana, l'Adonai. Once more, L'chuna Ranana, l'Adonai. Nariar l'tzor yishenu, nekadma fana b'toda. Nariar l'tzor yishenu, nekadma fana b'toda. Bismiro nariyalo. Once more, let's try it again. L'chuna Ranana, l'Adonai. L'chuna Ranana, l'Adonai. Nariya, nariya, let's
continue in Kabbalat Shabbat with Lecha Dodi, beginning on page 20, and we will recite together verses 1, 2, 5, and 9, and on the final 9th verse, I will invite everyone to rise and face the door as we receive Shabbat. And the 9th verse.
Lecha Dodi likrat kala b'nei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha Dodi likrat kala b'nei Shabbat nekabela. Shamor v'zachor v'dibor echad hishmiyanu el hamyuchad Adonai echad ushmo echad l'shem ultiferet v'litchila lecha dodi likrat kala b'nei Shabbat nekabela. Likrat Shabbat lechu v'nehelcha ki hi mekor habracha merosh mikedem nesucha sof maaseh v'machshavat tchila lecha dodi likrat kala b'nei Shabbat nekabela. Hitoreri kiva orech kumi ori uri shir daberi kivod Adonai alayich nigla lecha dodi likrat kala b'nei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha Shalom, ateret bala gam besimcha uvsola toch emuneh amesegula boi chala Lecha Dodi likrat kala b'nei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha Dodi likrat kala Shabbat nekabela.
We remain standing as we turn to page 28 for our call to prayer, Baruch Hu.
Yai lai lai lai, yai lai lai lai, yai lai 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 lai. Baruchu et Adonai hamevorach. Baruch Adonai hamevorach leolam avad. Baruch Adonai hamevorach leolam avad.
You may be seated. Please join me on page 30 for our evening prayer. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bidvaro ma'ariv aravim, bechokma poteach she'arim, uvitvuna mishanei itim, umachalif et hazmanim, umisader et hakochavim, b'mishmerotehem barakia kirtzono, bore yom v'layla, golel or mipnei choshech, v'choshech mipnei or.
ומעביר יום ומביא לילה, ומבדיל בין יום ובין לילה, אדוני צבאות שמו, אל חי וקיים, תמיד ימלוך עלינו לעולם ועד, ברוך אתה אדוני, המעריב ערבים.
Turn to page 34 as we take a moment to think about the oneness that unites us all and pray together the Shema.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad, Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Leolam Vayed. ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך וקשרתם לאות על ידיך והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותי והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם אני אדוני אלוהיכם אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים להיות לכם לאלוהים אני אדוני אלוהיכם אמת.
Sing the song of men, women, and all people, joined in understanding and respect. The song of God's miracles, an earth protected and cherished, a gift for our children and the generations to come. The song of a land once ravished by war, now quiet and content, her soldiers home to leave no more. The song of a world redeemed, the song of peace. Michamocha, page 40.
Michamocha ba'elim Adonai Michamocha nedar b'kodesh norati lot o sefer norati lot o sefer Malchutcha ra'u Yai lai 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 lai, yai lai 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 lai. Yai lai 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 lai, yai lai 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 lai. Yai lai 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 lai, yai lai 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 lai. Everyone. Yai lai 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 lai, yai lai 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 lai. She's a scary one.
It's true. We turn to page 44 as we delight in Shabbat with Yismachu.
Ay, 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 ay. Ay, 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 ay. Ay, 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 ay. ישמחו במלאכותך, שומרי שבת וקוראי עונג. ישמחו במלאכותך, שומרי שבת וקוראי עונג. מקדשי שביעי שבת, כולם ישמעו ויתענגו מטובך שבת. ישמחו במלאכותך, שומרי שבת וקוראי עונג. ישמחו במלאכותך, שומרי שבת וקוראי. והשביעי רצית בו וקידשתו שבת. חמדת ימים, חמדת ימים אותו קראת שבת, שבת. ישמחו במלאכותך, שומרי שבת וקוראי עונג. ישמחו במלאכותך, שומרי שבת וקוראי עונג. זכר למעשה וראשית שבת. זכר למעשה וראשית שבת. ישמחו במלאכותך, שומרי שבת וקוראי עונג. ישמחו במלאכותך, שומרי שבת וקוראי עונג.
Yasher koach. Please rise as we turn to page 46, which begins our Amidah, our central prayers.
Adonai, sefatai tiftach, ufi yagi tehilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips, that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu v'Elohei avoteinu v'imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, v'Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, v'Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol Hagibor v'Hanorah, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, Vekonei Hakol, Vezocher Chasei Avot Ve'imahot, Umevi Geula Livnei V'neihem, Lema'an Shemo Be'ahava, Melech Ozer Umoshia Umagen, Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham ve'ezrat Sarah. Atah gibor leolam Adonai, Mechayei hakol atah rav lehoshia. Mashiv haruach umorid hakashem, Mechalkel chayim bechesed. Mechayei hakol berachamim rabim, Somech noflim verofech holim, Umatir asurim, umekayem behemunato, lishenei ahafar, bichamocha bal gevurot, umito melach, melech meimid umechayeh, umatzmiach Yeshua, v'nemanat halachayot hakol, Baruch atah Adonai b'chayei hakol. Atah kadosh v'shimcha kadosh, ukadoshim b'chol yom yahalaluhu chasela. Baruch atah Adonai ha'el hakadosh.
We continue with silent prayer. You may do so with the words in our prayer books or the words in your hearts, and you may be seated when you are finished.
I think you may have received a handout. I'm hoping you did. The Journey song, and I'm singing this song about our life journeys because, as Rabbi said, the Shabbat is called Shabbat HaChodesh, Shabbat the month, and it precedes the month of Nisan, or the beginning of Nisan, which is this coming week, whereby the story of our Exodus occurred in our history, and we begin to prepare to tell that story at our tables on Passover. So I hope you'll join me in this melody of preparation. Where does the journey begin? Where will we go? Hours pass, the answers might change as we keep moving along. Sand of the shores of the sea, fearful we want to turn back. The sea parts, our eyes filled with wonder as we go along on our journey together. Where does the journey begin? Where will we go? Days pass, the answers can change as we keep moving along. Stepping into the unknown, hear the echo of Miriam's song. We awaken, retelling our stories as we go along on our journey. Where does the journey begin? Where will we go? Years pass, the answers have changed as we keep moving along. Cross the sea, it's the time to sing a song. We are free. Dance with your timbrels in hand. There's no turning back from this journey. Where does the journey begin? Where will we go? Hours pass, the answers might change as we keep moving along. Days pass, the answers can change as we keep moving along. Years pass, the answers have changed as we keep moving along.
Beautiful. There we go. Shabbat shalom, everyone. This past week, I started to tell a story about something to someone, and in the middle of telling the story, I guess I must have paused. I've been known to do this. It's my memory scanner looking for the next word, the next thought, the next idea, the noun, the verb, the completion of the sentence. Of course, it could have been jet lag. Maybe the combination of the two affects that scanner. Suddenly I saw a snap in front of my face. Rabbi, focus. Earth to Rabbi Davis, report to reality. Later in the day, the person sent me a link to a website, the top 10 ways to know if you need to refocus your life. I'm going to share just a few. You talk for 10 minutes to the answering machine and no one is talking back. You prepared your kids for college by buying a lotto ticket. You seem to always be someone who won't stop talking and who isn't interesting, and you are alone. You need to refocus your life if you have enough time to read this list on this obscure website. That one hit hard. This week's Torah portion asks us to refocus our lives, both inward and outward. This week we read a double Torah portion, Vayakhel Pikudei, the last two Torah portions of Exodus. These portions recount how our ancestors carried out the plans to build the tabernacle, this portable sanctuary in the desert. But it's striking to note that before they get to actually building this tabernacle, starting the project, it's all preceded with a repetition of the commandment to observe the Sabbath. Pay attention to Shabbat. The rabbis ask, why is this instruction placed before the project instructions? The answer that's given is to remind us that we must constantly step back and evaluate everything that we're doing. Every project, every construction of a tabernacle in the desert, every business plan that we have, every class we're going to teach, every meal we're going to prepare, every moment with our beautiful children that we have here tonight. We have to step back and evaluate and think about it. When I was in Israel a couple of days ago, I asked a taxi driver if he had enough work. He replied, Shmona b'shavua, which translates basically as 8 days a week. I assumed that he was working a lot, but I asked him for his translation. He said that he has to work 8 days to make what he should in 6. And then he went on to say that when his children start to support themselves, he will retire and only work 6 days a week. The business of life, the busyness of life, can easily get in the way of really living. We get so consumed with all the have-tos, the stuff we have to do, that we forget to really be in that moment. As Rabbi Abraham Joshua Heschel teaches, like the artist, we must occasionally step back from the canvas to see what we have done, what we are doing, and what we can do. We are all engaged in the balancing act of acting with balance. It's not easy. Work, rest, private, public, go, stop. Both our individual privacy and our need for community must be considered and balanced. In particular, on this Shabbat, we are commanded, the very first word of phrase in our Torah portion says, Vayakhel. It's that same word is out on the wall in front of the temple. Temple Beshalom in Hebrew is Kehilat Beit Shalom. The congregation, Kehilah is a congregation. The congregation Beth Shalom. The word Vayakhel in the Torah portion, and the word that's on the wall in the front of the sanctuary means to gather, to congregate, to be together. It's so important. The story is told of two students that came to the rabbi. The first complained, "Rebbe, I don't understand. For 30 years, I have sequestered myself in order to devote my life and myself, my brain, my being to the study of Torah. How can it be that after 30 years, I still have not merited divine inspiration?" The second complained, "Rebbe, for 30 years, I have served the community, taken no time for myself. I have always been available, always present, always working. Never did I miss a minyan." The wise rabbi looked to the first and said, "You have turned privacy into isolation." And then he looked to the second student and said, "You have turned community into insulation." Our Torah, our tradition, wants us to pursue a balance between privacy and community, and to avoid both isolation and insulation. And we are living in a time where this is oh so very important. We cannot ignore what's going on out in the world. We can't hide in our own little space. We have to find a way to balance it. Our Torah and our traditions tells us how our ancestors both worked and rested. Both. Refocusing. It's not a one-time event. The great rabbinic philosopher Maimonides said we must constantly strive for what he called Shvil HaZahav, the golden mean, a balanced life. I hope that you will find your own golden mean. It's not a one-time process. It's an ongoing process of constantly shifting, balancing, rebalancing. On this Shabbat, may we all step back from our business and our busyness and look inward at the canvas of our creation and outward at the frame around us. Ken Yehi Ratzon, may it be God's will, but through our actions that we find a little bit more balance in our lives. Amen.
Yasher Koach. Thank you, Rabbi, for those powerful and important words. We now turn our hearts and minds to those in our community who are in need of healing, who can use the strength of us together as a kehillah, as a congregation, as we send our prayers out into the world. If you are thinking of someone tonight who can use a prayer for healing of body, mind, or spirit, I'll invite you to say their names out loud.
Alex Storer and Rochelle Peters. Anika Chiolaku, David Greenberg, Diane Faleva, and Shane Governor.
Rachel Bat Malka.
We hold all of their names in our hearts as we pray for them, a refuah shlema, with our prayer for healing, Misha Berach, which can be found on page 253.
Misha Berach Avotenu Mekor HaBracha of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say Amen. Misheberach imotenu Mikor Abraha Le'avoteinu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say Amen.
That notion of renewal is so important. One of the ways that we renew ourselves as a community is at a very important moment when someone says, hey, I'd like to be part not only of Temple Beth Shalom, but more importantly, I'd like to be part of the Jewish people. So it's my pleasure to invite up Oksana Shaham to come up here and to complete the final steps. Come on up, Oksana. The final steps of this process of joining the Jewish people. Oksana's been on this journey, not just driving, trying to get here tonight in the traffic. That's right, Alma. Mommy, you want to come up here with Mom? Come on up. Yeah. We'll see if this is a good idea or not. We hope so. Yeah, come on up with Mom. Yeah, come on up with Mom. That's Alma and Ron. So Oksana has been on this journey for, bless you, has been on this journey for some time. And the Talmud tells us that the experience of someone who is joining our people was not only for those who have been part of our people for a long time, but for anyone who comes to this moment. And in fact, the tradition is that anyone who joins our people was actually standing at Mount Sinai when we received the Torah thousands of years ago. So this is your Mount Sinai moment, if you will. In a sense, in that idea, we're all Jews by choice. We're all choosing to pursue this life that we have. Maimonides, the great scholar, wrote, regarding the one who converts, our obligation is of a great heart and a bond of love. Think about that. When someone joins our people, we're supposed to have a great heart and reach out to them. And Oksana, you have studied, you have questioned, you've been in the mikveh, you appeared before the Bet Din, and now you are here to accept the mitzvah as part of your life and to receive your name. Bruchim haba'im b'shem Adonai. Blessed are you who come here in God's name. We bless you in God's name. At this sacred and joyous moment, we renew the covenant at Sinai between God and the people Israel. O God, we thank you for your many blessings. We thank you for the truth you have revealed to all humanity. Above all, we thank you for the gift of Torah, which has ever been a light for our path. And so I now ask you these questions, hopefully your answers will express your commitment to the Jewish people. Do you choose to enter the eternal covenant between God and the people Israel and to become a Jew of your own free will?
Yes, I do.
Do you accept Judaism to the exclusion of other religious faiths and practices?
Yes, I do.
Do you pledge your loyalty to Judaism and to the Jewish people?
Yes, I do.
Do you promise to establish a Jewish home and to continue to establish a Jewish home and to participate actively in the life of the synagogue and of the Jewish community?
Yes, to my ability.
Do you commit yourself to the pursuit of Torah and Jewish knowledge?
Yes, I do.
And we know that's true because she's in the process of studying to become a bat mitzvah, which takes place when, Cantor? May 13th. We have a whole group of adults, and Oksana is part of those adults. If you, since you have beautiful children, two beautiful children, Alma and Leah, do you promise to raise them as Jews?
Yes, I do.
Beautiful. Now I'm going to ask you to recite these words that Ruth, our tradition teaches, is the first one who's chosen Judaism on her own. I'll ask you to recite these words.
Okay. Ruth said, "Entreat me not to leave you or to return from following after you. For wherever you go, I will go. Wherever you lodge, I will lodge. Your people should be my people, and your God, my God. Where you die, I will die, and there will I be buried.
Beautiful. Now I've asked Oksana to share a few words with all of you so you might know a little bit about her journey.
As Rabbi said, it took me a while to get here, and I went through a lot of search and discoveries. I grew up in the post-Soviet Union era and in Russia, where religion was a bit forbidden, and it started kind of coming to life after the communist collapse. So everyone was searching. My parents were searching, my friends were searching, my neighbors were searching. I was relatively young at that age, but my search kind of ended when I moved to New York City, and I surrounded myself with a lot of Jewish friends, a Jewish community, and that's how I met my husband. And that's where I realized that Judaism is a home for me, and I would like to build my home within Jewish traditions, and I would like to raise my kids Jewish as well. Yeah.
Beautiful. We're now going to take the Torah out of the ark and place it in Oksana's arms, and I'll ask you to please rise as we do that. First, I'd like to ask you to pray the words of Shema. Most of us don't have the opportunity to pray those as our first words as a Jew, and so I'll ask you to pray the words of the Shema.
Okay. Shema Israel, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Ahad.
Beautiful, beautiful. You've chosen a beautiful Hebrew name. You've chosen the Hebrew name Ruth, which in English is Ruth, who, as I said before, was the first of our people to choose Judaism of her own free will. One of the interesting things about Ruth, of which you're not like Ruth, of the Bible, Ruth didn't study at all. It's something she became Jewish really through her own actions and the love of her heart. And you've done both of those through your own actions. You've been living as a Jew for quite a long time, and your heart is certainly with our people. But you've also studied and taken this process seriously to be educated and knowledgeable about the decisions that you're making. Ruth, in Hebrew, every Hebrew letter has a numerical value. And the numerical value of the name Ruth, is 606. And there's another word that has the same numerical value, and the word is B'tzidkati, which means for my own righteousness. And you're doing this out of your own righteousness. This is the right thing for you to do in your life. It's not, your family will benefit from it, but you're not doing it because of them. You're doing this because this is the right place, the right thing, the right process, the right step in your life, and that's definitely something to be honored. And so I'm going to now officially give you your Hebrew name. Mishaberach Avotenu Avraham Yitzchak v'Yaakov v'imotenu Sarah Rivka Rachel v'Leah Hu Yavarech et Achotenu Ruth bat Avraham Avinu v'Sarah Imenu. May God, who blessed our ancestors Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, Sarah, Rebekah, Rachel, and Leah, bless Ruth, who has cast her lot with our people Israel. May she prosper in all her worthy endeavors. And I'm going to ask you to repeat these words after me as a form of blessing. V'tir'eh, vracha, b'chol, ma'aseh, yadeha. And what you just have said is, may the work of her hands be blessed. And it's because it's through our hands that we earn the most important name that we will ever have, and that is our Shem Tov, our reputation. And we are praying that you will always have good works of your hands and that you'll have good deeds and continue to earn the good name that you have. And let us say together, Amen. Amen. And now I'm going to put the Torah away here for just a moment. And I'm going to ask Alma and Ron to come on up here. Cantor, Rabbi, come on up here. We're going to bless you now. So Alma, put your hands out. There you go. Hold. Okay.
Yivarechecha Adonai v'yishmerecha.
King Yiratzon, may God bless you and keep you.
Yair Adonai panav elecha v'yikuneka.
King Yiratzon, may God's presence shine upon you and be gracious to you.
Yisa Adonai panav elecha v'yasem lecha shalom, shalom.
King Yiratzon, may God's presence lift you up and may you always be filled with the blessing of shalom, the blessing of peace and wholeness. And let us say together, Amen and
Amen.
Mazel Tov.
Simen tova, mazel tova, mazel tova, simen tova, mazel tova, mazel tova, simen tova, mazel tova, simen tova, Yehelanu. Simen tova, mazel tova, simen tova, mazel tova, simen tova, mazel tova, simen tova,
In preparation for Elenu, I'll ask you to turn to page 282. And if any of the other kids want to come up here with parents, without parents, you're welcome to join us up here as we face toward the east for Elenu.
Aleinu l'shabeach la'adon hakol, la'tein gidula liyotzeh bereshit, shelo sanu kigoyeh ha'aratzot, v'lo samanu kimishpachot ha'adama, shelo samechelkeinu kahem, v'gor aleinu kechol hamonam, va'anachnu korim u'mishtachavim u'modim lifnei melech malchei hamlachim hakadosh baruch hu v'nehemar v'haya Adonai l'melech al kol haaretz bayom hahu Bayom hahu yeh Adonai echad u'shemo echad.
You may be seated. At this point in our service, we turn our hearts and minds to those who are no longer with us. We think of all of those who we have loved and lost, and especially those who have died at this time and years past. We remember tonight all of those in the community who have died at this time and years past and whose families have so lovingly inscribed their names here in our alcove of remembrance. We remember Harry Aaron Beichman, Molly Berman, Anna Bernanke, Alice Bessman, Henry Bryn, Sarah Bootwinnig, Arlene Chaplin, Linda Cohen Cooper, Donna Diamond, Seymour Gelber, Ada Gisbert, Malka Gran, Jacob Gruber, Edward S. Herschel, Helen Knopke, Wendy Landis, Ann Lerner, Joseph Lifter, Martin Mayer, Rosalind Milstein, David Noroff, Jenny Oleski, Herman G. Rosenbaum, Perla Santermer, Simcha Shrira, Arthur Joel Sheldon, Sadie Sherman, Harry Schindler, and Anna Tenenbaum. We also remember all of those in our communities who have died at this time in years past and whose families and friends are remembering them. We remember Virginia Claire Amazon, Scott Amder, Solomon Benray, Harvey Burdoff, Bernard L. Cohen, Esther Cohen, Jules Freeman, Molly Friedman, Ada Gisbert, Edward Harris, Michael Horwitz, William Kasdan, Franny Zimmerman Klein, Faye Levinson, Evelyn Mayerson, Jacob Mandel, Helen Margolis, Isidore Jack Miller, Irving Miller, Randall Randy Moss, Joseph Neifeld, Carlos Nunez, Solomon Orphus, Gershon Press, Benjamin Rogg, Douglas Nathan Rotler, Jeffrey Rosen, Maxine Rosenblum, Salik Rosendorn, Stanford S. Rywell, Philip Samuels, Charles Schlosser, Leonard Traeger, David Earl Singer, Stella Spritzer, Reba Schaefer Sterling, Roberta Ty, Devorah Vaxman, Edward I. Weinroth, and Esther Weiner. And as well, we remember all of those who have died in the past 30 days and whose families and friends are currently observing the Shloshim. We remember Sheila Silverberg and Rabbi Talit Shavit. If you have any names, if you are remembering someone and you would like to add those names to our community tonight, I invite you to rise and remain standing. As well, we remember the more than 6 million people that were murdered in the Shoah. We remember all of those who gave their lives so that we can have a free country here in America, as well as all of those who gave their lives so that we could have a homeland in the state of Israel. We keep them, as always, every week close in our hearts, and I invite everyone to please rise as we stand together as a community for words of Mourner's Kaddish, which can be found on 294. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei rabbah, be'alma divrach yirteh ve'amlich malchuteh, b'chayachon u'v'yomachon u'v'chayei dechol beit Yisrael, b'agala u'v'zman kariv ve'imru amen. Yehei shmei rabbah mevorach le'olam u'almei almaya, yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh, v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shemed kudisha b'rechu, le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechamata damiran b'alma v'imru amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya v'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh shalom b'mramav hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Zichronam levracha, may their memories always be for us a source of blessing. You may be seated. It is now my honor and pleasure to invite up our board member, Amy Hanlon.
Thank you, Rabbi. First of all, I'd like to say Mazel Tov to Oksana and her family and her friends. Those of us who were part of the adult B'nai Mitzvah class, and I see some of my colleagues over there as well, have been delighted to learn with her and to observe her amazing dedication and diligence. So, Oksana, welcome to the tribe. And again, Mazel Tov. I'm going to read the announcements in just a few moments, but before I do, I just wanted to share a little story. In my community, there's a fitness center which opens at 7 a.m., and I like to go at 7 a.m. because the whole place is empty. I have everything to myself. And I mentioned I'm part of the adult B'nai Mitzvah class, and I've been taking advantage for the last few months of that time when I'm in this place all by myself to practice chanting my Torah portion because that's really the only way to internalize the trope, to just repeat it over and over and over whenever you can. So, as has been my habit for quite a while now, I finished my workout, I'm sitting in the sauna, and I'm singing at the top of my lungs, Amen et Sophia. And this woman shows up and she's staring at me. And I think to myself, oh no, this woman, she must think, I'm off my meds. I mean, there's something wrong. There's incomprehensible words and this weird melody. So then she starts to talk. And she says to me, my family and I escaped from the Soviet Union in the 1970s. And I remember my father telling me that if he had been heard chanting Torah in a public place, the KGB would have arrested him and put him in jail. And she said, when I heard you chanting Torah in a public place, it brought me face to face with the memory of my father, who would have said, just give thanks for being in this country, for freedom. And it really, it brought tears to my eyes, and it made me really sit and ponder for at least a few moments what it means to be free as Americans, as Jews, and as people who can pursue a spiritual journey and knowledge in any way that we choose. And we all tend to take those gifts so much for granted. So I do hope that on this Shabbat, you'll join me in that pondering, if only for a little while. Because, the rabbis remind us all the time, but somehow, we forget in the course of our daily lives how precious that gift of freedom really is to all of us. So with that, I'd like to highlight the following. Tomorrow, Saturday, March 18th, we offer a host of Shabbat morning activities beginning at 9:30 a.m. with Torah study. And here are a few activities coming up next week. Tuesday, March 21st at 7 p.m., the Warsaw Ghetto Uprising Program Part 2, which is a film viewing with Mark Baranek. Wednesday, March 22nd at 7 p.m. is a kosher wine tasting experience. Please RSVP to Mark. Friday, March 24th at 6, Rabbi Josh Weinberg will join us to discuss Israel, judicial reform, and its impact. Please check our website for the full list of activities and how to participate. Shabbat Shalom.
Beautiful. Thank you, Amy, for those words of Torah and the announcements. We're going to conclude our service with Oseh Shalom, our song for peace. I'll invite you all to rise as we conclude our Shabbat service. Thank you all so much for coming.
Oseh Shalom b'mromav, hu yaseh shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'imru Amen. Yahaseh shalom, Yahaseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Yahaseh shalom, Yahaseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Yahaseh shalom, Yahaseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Yahaseh shalom, Yahaseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Yahaseh shalom, Yahaseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat shalom. Thank you. Yasher koach. It's beautiful. Yasher koach, Yasher koach. Koyach.